Hi, YouTube family. Good morning and happy Thursday to you guys and happy crappy hour. Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. It is, good morning and good afternoon and good evening, wherever you might be. Hoping that you'll be joining me soon. I'm so excited to talk about the topic we've got today. We are going to talk about the red flags of the narcissist and unsafe people. I'm having you join me here on my deck. And I think I may not be using Oscar anymore because YouTube, like I said last time, is not very encouraging about, they're not encouraging about a lot of stuff, but they seem to be flagging my, or demonetizing my videos because I don't know, because just because I'm using Oscar, I guess it kind of, they think it's about a children's topic, even though I put in the topic, clearly what I'm discussing. But anyway, hey, so here we are. Don't know that I needed to say all of that, but you guys, welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. And I'm glad that you guys are coming on. Glad that you guys will be joining me today. We have a lot to talk about because I'm so excited about all the things I've been learning, some experiences I've had this week, which I think is going to really help you because it has also helped me. So see, you guys are coming on here. I'm going to give you a few seconds and a few moments to do this. So glad to see you. Yay, yay. Hope you guys are going to come on and say hi. Oh, great. Jihad, good morning. Oh, yes. Says, I'm excited for today's videos. Yes, I'm so glad to have you. So you guys, let's first, happy that I had this week and a crappy that I had this week. And the reason we talk about those is that we learn from them, right? We want to look back and see what we did well and what we didn't do well. And let me see, what do I want to first talk about? My happy was that I did get together with a few friends this week where, kind of unexpected, but it was so good. I have a friend who's a mega YouTuber, mega, like millions of subscribers. And not really a close friend, but have known them for a while through mutual friends. And they were willing to come over and, just talk with me and encourage me. Because I was telling you guys, I think last week that I needed some encouragement. And it's hard when you need encouragement to ask for help. When you're feeling down, it's hard to share your life and your flaws, or that you even have needs, because we don't want to appear needy, right? We don't want to burden somebody. But for a lot of reasons, I decided that I had to reach out because, I'm telling you guys to reach out to other people when you're in need. And so I need to do that. So I stepped out of my comfort zone, contacted a few people, including this YouTuber friend of mine. And they were so happy to come over, and it's a couple. They came over and they had dinner with us and hung around, and we had a lot of laughs. It was great. And, they shared and commiserated some things with me about, you guys, you have no idea how sometimes unencouraging YouTube is to their creators. I hate to say that about YouTube because they also provide a platform for us. So I am grateful for that. But sometimes, anyway, you just got to make your own decisions, right? You can't have even a company or a boss or a money be your focus, right? You have to follow what is in your heart and what, for me, God is telling me to do. What my conscience, right, is telling me is right or wrong for me. And anyway, you guys, that's what I did. And it turned out to be great. I was so glad that I reached out. I was so glad that I took that chance. And at first they didn't respond for a few days, and a lot of things went through my mind. Here's the crappy, right? The happy is that I push myself to be vulnerable and open up and reach out to people and let them know I really need some encouragement, and I would appreciate their encouragement if they have the time. Now, I also let them know that if they didn't have the time, that's okay. And then I had to do that work inside of me. That's kind of the crappy, right? Because the initial thing I thought was, oh my gosh, they're thinking, you know what, I don't want to waste my time with you. I don't have time for you. Or, who are you? Right? Like, do I know you? So you start to, because when you put yourself out there, you can make yourself feel very insignificant, right? So that's the crappy for me. I had, for a moment, just a moment, I thought, I can't believe I put it out there. They're going to think I'm an idiot. you know, they're going to think I'm weak. Um, and then a few days passed, right? They didn't respond. And I was, and of course it would have been really easy for me to feel worse and worse about myself. But here's the happy part. I decided right away, like when I put out that question, or that my text to them, I also said, I completely understand if you don't have time. I know you guys are super busy, and just wanted to put this out there and wish them a good day, and that was it. Anyway, so they did respond. They came over, we hung out, and in fact, they're agreeing to give me more encouragement as I need it. And now we're in a group text, and they're like, yeah, text us when you need more encouragement or advice. Or, I was just like, wow, when you ask, this is what I tell people a lot of times: if you don't ask, you don't get. So following my own advice, it's okay to ask, and it's okay if you get rejected. It's okay if they say no. In fact, one of my friends never responded back. We're still friends, but I think she just got, she's in a place right now, and I, am familiar and understand that she's not in a place where she can be giving at this point. But she is giving. I've seen her be very giving. She's gone through a lot of abuse herself, and has through narcissistic abuse, in fact, with a partner. And so I can understand she's just not at that place yet where, she can do things for you. She can, but she can't be there like emotionally yet, right? So I understand that. So sometimes, you guys, when you ask, you may not get, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that from the get-go, from the moment you ask. You have to be like, you know what? If they say no, I'm okay with that. But guess what? They might say yes. So that's the cool thing. So, hey, agriculturist, good to see you. And Ash M, good morning. I have not seen you before, so welcome. Welcome. So glad you guys are all here. John Bailey, good morning. So glad you came. Jihad says, always remember the videos you make helps a lot of people, and that should be a big encouragement. Thank you so much. Yes, it's because of you guys that I keep going, honestly, because there have been times I thought, why am I doing this? YouTube seems to be really hard on us, and doesn't want to reward us. And, yeah, it's like the harder you work, the less they give you. You're like, what the heck? So my focus is, and has always got to be, on you guys, has got to be on whether this is helping you guys or not. And when I am no longer helpful, then I'm going to stop. Unless, of course, something happens and I just can't be doing this anymore and I have to start something else. But you guys are the ones who are helping me continue on with this. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the love from you. I appreciate your encouragement, it's so wonderful. But there's only so long you can work for no sustenance, right? There's only so long you can work for, yeah, you guys. But my focus, so long as my focus is on you guys, I feel great. I feel really great. When I start focusing on YouTube, the company itself, yeah, that's when I start feeling discouraged. Agriculturist says, love the time of your live stream just after work for me. Oh, good. So glad to hear that. Hey, you guys, I was thinking I might do a second live stream time that's, a different time zone for people in the US, because this is not probably the best time for people in the US. But I'm so glad that I'm catching people in other parts of the world and that it's a good time for you. So I'm so glad that you guys are here and able to make it. Well, you guys, let's dive into our topic today. And it's about the red flags that narcissists and unsafe people have that we should be paying attention to. And I have 8 of them for you. And we'll go through those. I'd love for you to share with me some red flags that you've noticed. And I'm going to share with you one specific example of that I recently had that had to do with one of these red flags. Actually, probably a couple of these red flags. 2 different friends recently went through a few things, and just, I'm watching and I'm learning and we're discussing, and I just think, wow, these are great lessons, life lessons. So you guys, the first thing I want to say is unsafe people, that unsafe or toxic or narcissists might do is they use flattery. They use flattery instead of truth. Okay, you guys? And flattery catches us. Now, narcissists are huge on this, right? Because they'll compliment you. They'll go on and on about how beautiful, how handsome, how smart, how amazing you are. No one is like you. They've never met anyone ever like you, right? And we fall for it because we're like, wow, we want to feel special. We want to be seen. We want to know that someone knows us or notices us or appreciates us, because a lot of times, so many people walk around not realizing that they are appreciated. So actually, that's one of the things that I do for people is I want to let them know that I appreciate them. But you don't want to be like fake flattery. You want to tell them real things about them that you appreciate about them. Things I notice about people, I'll let them know. Like I remember a friend of mine, we were driving back from a day retreat. It was like a meditation, prayer type of retreat. And on the way home, she was driving and she was mentioning some kind of insecurities that she had about how she thought other people saw her. And that's when I was able to tell her, wow, this is how I see you. I see you as really strong and, generous and insightful. And she was like, what, really? No one's ever told me these things about myself. It's like, wow, that's, so I was so glad to be able to tell people, to tell her what I saw in her. Now, that's not fake flattery, you guys. It's not like, oh, I just love your hair and look at that's okay. Like, oh, nice haircut and all that. But a lot of times I don't compliment people on their hair because guess what? I don't really like their hair. So don't do the fake fat flattery just because they got a haircut. It's like, well, it doesn't look great. I'm not going to just, tell them how wonderful it looks. I'm just going to, not mention it. Don't do the fake thing, okay? I know a lot of people do it because they want to make the other person feel better, but you want to make them feel better about real things and real things that you notice that are good and that you believe are good, right? Not something that you don't really believe is great about them. Yeah, just to make them feel better. But narcissists and toxic people, unsafe people will flatter you about everything. And they'll exaggerate how amazing and wonderful whatever it is that they are seeing on you or about you, to the point where you think like, wow, they just think I'm so wonderful. But you kind of know, right? You kind of know, like, I'm not that great. Or my outfit wasn't that amazing looking, or, my nails are okay. What? Or that joke was funny, but it wasn't that hilarious. So yeah, you kind of know when someone is just, what do they call it? That snowing you, right? So be careful of that. That's what unsafe people do. So that's number 1. Let me see, you guys. Some more people are, cherries, you guys. So instead of using Oscar, because I don't want YouTube to think that I'm doing some kind of children's show and then they flag me for like a bait and switch. It's not a bait and switch. I'm just a lighthearted person. And I like stuffed animals and I like things that make me happy. So that's why I like Oscar. But because when I use Oscar, they kind of flag my videos as if, hey, you're trying to be a children's video and you're not. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to be a children's video. Anyway, you guys, that's, because of their algorithms, they can't see that this is not a children's channel or even trying to be a children's channel. So yeah, so today you guys are joining me for a cup of tea or coffee and some cherries. And that's what I put out for you guys. Let me see. Laura, good to see you. Good morning. And I'm sorry, let me see if I can see this right. Jareen, good morning. Crystal Jean, hi. Good morning to you. Laura, wait, I already said hi. Yes, hi. So good to see you here, Laura. I don't know if I've seen you here before, so this is great. Holographic Multiverse, good to see you. He says, my compliments are more like, oh, wow, you look so fit or glowing. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Yes, I wouldn't mind hearing that too. Crystal Jean says, beware of sycophants and yes men. Yes, exactly. I'm having green tea and a banana. Yay! So you're joining me this morning. So you guys, okay, so we went through number 1, flattery. But safe people are truthful. And here's the deal. Safe people will tell you the honest truth without attacking you, okay? And the truth is painful. I'll tell you what, the truth is painful. The truth can hurt. And oftentimes it does hurt, especially if it's, safe people are willing to tell you what's wrong. Okay, safe people are willing to let you know because they don't want you to continue on a path of destruction, or they want to be honest with you. They don't want to be fake with you because they want to deepen their relationship with you. And now here's my example. I'm going to give you guys a friend of mine. She's becoming quite a close friend, and I so appreciate her. Here's the thing. She texted me and said, she texted me this week and said, sometimes I feel like you must think I'm an idiot. And I'm like, wow, why would you think that? And she didn't say like, you make me feel like an idiot. She says, sometimes I struggle with thinking that you might think that I'm an idiot. And the reason for that, I think, is because she's comparing herself to me. I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of, she does a lot of reading too. I do a lot of reading. I'm always learning. That's why I love hanging out with her, because we always have a lot to talk about. And so I love talking with her. We have lots of laughs, and she's also athletic. She's great. She's fit in that, and she's strong. She's just a strong woman physically, and she's brave. She's brave in that she has struggled through narcissistic abuse and still is with a family member. And I'm just so encouraged by her. So when she sent me that text, it was her being vulnerable, and her being honest about how she was feeling, right? And I so appreciated that. So I wrote back to her, and we wrote back and forth, and we talked a little bit. And, I got to tell her what I really think about her. And when I did tell her, she was very appreciative. And I understand, like, we all have our insecurities, that lie to us and speak these lies. Our woundings tell us we're not good enough, or that that person doesn't really like us, or that that person's just being nice to us because they pity us. Or if that person really knew who I was, they would not like me or want to be around me. Those are the lies, right, that we believe from our wounding. And she was starting to believe those lies. And instead of coming at me and saying, you make me feel like an idiot, which I know I don't, because no way, right? But when she said, sometimes I think you must feel like I'm an idiot. And I'm like, wow, no, I don't actually ever think that. But I'm so thankful that she came forward and told me, because now I can put to rest her fear, right? I can put to rest that lie that's in her head from her wounding. And now our relationship can go to the next level, which is so fantastic. And I love that. So you guys, I wanted to share that with you. Safe people will be honest with you. And I'm going to share you, I'm sticking with this one thing for a while, but I want to say good morning to a few more people. Hi, Mike Smith. Good to see you. Chris Pyle, good to see you. Chris says, yes, I also had the you look wonderful, even stinking, working in the yard, filth, dirty. Well, if it's, Yeah, sometimes you may not feel beautiful, but the person who loves you will say that, you're beautiful to them. Okay, we get it. We get it. um, Laura says, I've watched some of your videos and a thumbs up. Yay! I'm so glad. Thank you, Laura. My hope is in him. Good morning. Gamer Christina, good to see you here. Thumbs up and heart, heart. Um, Mike says, good morning, Christina. Good morning, Crystal. Hi, Mike. Good to see you. Agriculturist, I'm afraid that as well, that people do not like me and just don't say. Yeah, that's a lie, by the way. Jean-Marie Rock, or I think it's Jean-Marie, but good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Says, hi, Narc survivors. Mike says, I am doing a lot better. I hope you are doing great also, Crystal. Aw, that's great, guys. Hey, so, another story I wanted to tell you about this woman, why I think she's so brave. She's brave because she's truthful and she's honest without attacking. She's truthful without criticism, and she's helpful. I'll tell you what, when we cut out people who are truthful and helpful because of our wounding, which we can do, right? If someone tells us the truth about ourselves, we didn't want to hear it, okay, say somebody tells you, it really bothers me or it makes me feel, anxious when you're 30 minutes late coming to get me because, could you be on time, or they're asking you in a nice way, like, could you not be late? But then you take that as an insult, like, how dare you, I had things happening and it was out of my control. And so, that's why I was late. But you can just say like, wow, I didn't mean to make you anxious. If it was out of your control, let them know it was out of your control and they can understand that. But if it's a pattern, if it's something you always do, you're always late, or maybe not always, but a lot of times you're late, right? Accept that. Like, oh, wow, yeah, that is a problem I have. And yeah, people do have a problem with that. And suddenly you look around and people are not wanting to be around you, right? People are not asking you to come over anymore or picking them up anymore or going with them anywhere because you're always late. And you're left wondering, why are people suddenly falling away from me? Well, the person who's a true friend is going to let you know, like, this is really bothersome that you're always late and you make everybody else late. And people don't like being late. So that's why no one rides with you anymore. No one, wants to ride with you anymore. But they don't have to say that part. They just can let you know, like, it makes them anxious. It's, they like to be there on time. So, being late makes them feel anxious. And then you adjust, you adjust your flaw, the problem, and then you get better. And then suddenly everybody wants to ride with you again. That's just a real small problem I just mentioned, but things like that. So there was an actual situation where a woman wanted to lead. Actually, this friend of mine asked me to lead a study with her, right? Another group. And we're getting to know each other. We really like each other. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I would love to lead with her. Well, there was a third woman, who kind of interjected herself. And she said, hey, I have an idea. How about all three of us lead together? And, it wasn't my place because I'm not the one who's starting the study. It was my friend who's starting it. So I was going to let her decide what she wanted to do with that, whatever, she wanted to do. So she contacted that woman, the third woman, and had a one-on-one conversation with her and let her know, she wasn't mean. She just said, I thought about this and I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't think that it would be a good idea for all three of us to lead, and then the other woman says, why, so she wants to know why. And my friend was honest. She said, because you tend to take over the conversations and people have a hard time getting to speak when you're leading. And so that friend, that's a hard thing to hear, right? You think, oh my gosh, but guess what? That's not the worst thing in the world. She's not telling this person like you're a horrible person and you have a black soul or a black heart. She's not saying any of that. She just says, you tend to take over conversations. and it's hard to, and I just want to lead um, with another friend right now. Well, the third woman was so insulted that she, after they hung up from that conversation, she called or texted my friend back and said, "I don't think we need to be friends anymore." And I'm like, wow, okay, I understand that though. I understand how our wounding shuts out safe people, shuts out people who are willing to tell us the truth in kindness, in love, right? They shut out people who give us painful truths because we don't want to deal with the pain. But what that does to us, though, is if we do that, we we lose the opportunity to grow. We lose the opportunity to allow a safe person into our life who is we can trust actually, who we would who would make our life better, who would make us better. That's what good friends do. Good friends call us to become better, right? Better versions of ourselves. Good friends also tell us the truth when it's hard, but they love us through it anyway, right? They're willing to still be there. It's not like she wasn't willing to be there with this person anymore. But bottom line, this person was not the average person. I hate to say it, but they may be a narcissist, and they definitely have very narcissistic personality traits. So in the end, if you, if you are a safe person, and you use truth, that generally repels unsafe people. It also repels narcissists. So it's kind of a good thing, right? All right, you guys. So that was kind of point number one. Flattery, but is what unsafe people will use. Truth without criticism, without attacking, is what safe people will use. So, you guys, let me see some of the comments you have here. Crystal says, "I'm always late and I don't mean any disrespect ever. I'm just awful at time management and a bit of an airhead sometimes." Yeah, you know what? And that's fine. So long as other people are not relying on you. It's like if you're late getting there and it affects you, okay, no big deal. I think that when we start affecting other people, their ability to get somewhere on time, if they're missing the first 10 minutes of a movie because you're picking them up and you get them late, yeah, that might be a little annoying, right, to the other person. That's what I mean by being late. When it gets to the point where it's really affecting the other person, whatever it is, if you're doing something that really starts affecting the other person and makes their quality of life worse, make a bigger effort to. That's what I had to do, by the way. I think we all have to learn, or most of us have to learn, how to be on time. I mean, it is a big life lesson and life tool, and not just on time, but early. So nowadays, I'm actually either on time or early. I'm very rarely late. But years ago, I was always late, and it never made me feel good, by the way, being late. So anyway, that's just a late, whatever, being late, being early thing. Mike says, yes, toxic people are everywhere. Yeah. Holographic Multiverse says, I would never say I didn't mean to make you feel. I just apologize for being late. That's it. My bad. No excuses. Exactly. And that's another thing. Okay, you guys. Okay, I'm going to get to that later on here, but I'll go to number 5. Number 5 is they defend. Okay, unsafe people defend their lies and bad behavior. And thank you, Holographic Multiverse, for bringing that up, because that is, okay, we'll just call that number 2. They defend their lies and bad behavior, but safe people will humbly accept that they need to take responsibility for their mistake or their bad behavior, right? That's a huge thing. When you're with a toxic person, when you're with a narcissist, you'll never catch them taking responsibility for what they did. It's going to, they may take partial responsibility, like, okay, I was late, but, and then they go into all these reasons, or I, whatever, I broke your whatever, but I don't really need to repay you because you owe me for this and that, or I don't know. It's just they make up some ridiculous reason why they can't just say, I'm sorry and let me fix this. you know, but a safe person will be will let you know, I'm sorry, I did this and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to take responsibility, and they figure out a way. I'm sorry, I lost your whatever, your tool that I borrowed. I'm going to go replace it. It's not like, or let me know what kind of tool, where you got this and what brand, and I will get the same. They're not going to replace it with something cheaper or worse off, or, and think that that's okay. They're actually going to try to make it right. So that's number 2. Number 3 is no boundaries. The unsafe person has no boundaries, or they use boundaries to manipulate. Like, they'll say, well, okay, I don't know, it's the boundaries to manipulate, but they manipulate you by saying things like, if you, okay, I hate to stay with the late thing, but if you don't, okay, let's do this. If you don't let me know ahead of time, at least 2 days ahead of time, that you're coming home late, then no sex for us. Like, what? It doesn't even match, right? And it doesn't even have to do with you being late, or letting them know you're going to be coming home late, or letting them know that you forgot to pick up something. Next time you forget to pick up the dry cleaning, no sex for us. Like, what the heck, And then you find that, like, they're just using that for everything. Everything that you do, it's no sex for us. You forgot to help with, you didn't help clean up the dishes after dinner, no sex for us. You, whatever, now I'm angry at you for, and they pick up whatever they want to pick up, and they just keep moving the line. They keep moving the boundary, and they give you some consequence that's ridiculous, that doesn't even match what the infraction is, right? And they withdraw or withhold affection. They give you the silent treatment. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. It's like, no, you know what? The not talking to you doesn't resolve the problem. The not talking to you is like throwing a tantrum. Let's work this out. But maybe not right now when tempers are high. Let's work it out later. Let's schedule a time and a date. So their boundaries are used more to manipulate, to make you feel guilty, to make you feel bad about yourself, to put you down, so that's not really a boundary. That's them using it to manipulate you. So, but a safe person has healthy boundaries. And the healthy boundaries, by the way, are expectations. There are some things you should expect from people, like honesty, okay? But should you expect them to know what you're thinking? Should you expect them to never misunderstand a request, right? Should you expect them to always remember what you said? No, you know what? Because people make mistakes. So it's okay that people make mistakes. So let's not have this expectation of perfection from the other person, right? We can't even expect perfection from ourselves. So that's the thing. Safe people have healthy boundaries, and boundaries that are attainable, boundaries where you don't step over me, as in okay, here's a good healthy boundary: no name calling. When we get upset, we can't be yelling nasty names at each other. That's a healthy boundary. And for the other person to say, well, I can't help it. When I get mad, I have to yell, and I can't control what I'm saying to you. That's not healthy. All right. That's not a healthy boundary. That's an excuse, right? So healthy people or safe people have a boundary where, no, you can't call them names, but guess what? They're not going to call you names either when they get mad. So that's a healthy expectation. That's a healthy boundary. So with boundaries, you need to have consequences, by the way. So when you have a consequence to that boundary, it might be like, okay, you calling me names, and it's escalated to that, then I leave the room. Like, I'm not staying in the room for you to continue to demean me and call me names and be derogatory with me. No, I don't deserve that. And you draw that healthy boundary for yourself. You're protecting. Boundaries protect, they don't attack. Now, unhealthy or unsafe people will use boundaries to attack. And so those are not boundaries. Those are just expectations meant to make you feel guilty and take responsibility for something that's not yours. All right, you guys, I'm moving so slowly through all of these because there's so much to be said about each of them. Measure Twice, good to see you. I see you guys are coming on. I'm so glad. There are a lot of conversation going on here. So good. See Thomas, good to see you. Never hear an apology from them. If you insist, then it's a problem. Yeah. Okay, you guys, here's the next thing. Number 4. This is a huge thing, I think. Connection. A connection with them. Unsafe people, even over a long period of time, and as time goes by, you do not feel a deeper connection. The connection just isn't there. And in fact, with narcissists, it's kind of reverse. The connection may seem really strong at first, but the more time you have with them, the less connected you feel to them. That's how you know this is an unsafe person. So the more time you are around this unsafe person, the less connection you have to them. Some people may just have no connection with them whatsoever and never develop a connection, no matter how many years you have known them. Now, I should have known this, and when I'm going through these red flags, I recognize them now in the toxic relationships I had, and especially in the relationship I had with a covert narcissist. Because the 10 years I was friends with this covert narcissist, I never felt close to her. I wanted to. I really, really wanted to. She had a great mask. She made herself seem really, shiny on the outside, and people were drawn to her. She seemed humble. She seemed real helpful. She seemed really caring. But for some reason, I just did not connect with her, and I wanted to. I wanted to so badly. And at best, we were kind of superficial friends. We shared some things, even if you share intimate information, you can share intimate information, by the way, with anybody. Heck, you can share intimate information with a complete stranger. It doesn't make you closer. So think about that. So just because you share intimate information doesn't mean you have a connection. The connection is when you feel trust growing between you. You feel a closeness growing between you. You feel more intimate with them. You feel like you can, that they have your back. You feel like you're practically becoming family. You feel that way. It's not just a superficial, well, we hang out so much, we're practically family. No, just hanging out doesn't make you family. It just means you spend a lot of time together. So a big red flag for me with narcissists and unsafe people is the longer you spend time with them, it doesn't matter. You're not going to feel any closer to them. And on top of that, you might actually feel less safe with them the longer you spend time with them. So with safe people, the more time you spend with them, the closer you get to them, the more intimate you become, the more caring. And this is why I tell people who bash marriage or long-term relationships and think that they're fake, like, usually those are people who've never been in one and who are not currently in one, right? I am in a relationship that's over 30 years. Okay, you guys? And I have to tell you, the longer we're together, the more in love I am, the more amazed, the more I am into my husband. The more I have been with him, and not to say like, boy, we didn't have some hard times, and we did. But here's the deal. The longer you spend time with people, you build trust. You build this, you build a life together. You build even on the tragedies in your life. And in fact, it's like the tragedies that happen in your life were built on kind of shaky foundation. So what happens is that house burns down or falls apart. So you rebuild. And when you rebuild, it's actually stronger. So if you're with somebody longer and longer, you're supposed to feel more intimacy with them. You're supposed to feel closer and a better, stronger connection. Okay, guys. So on to number 5. Unsafe people resist change. Okay? Unsafe people resist change because they narcissists definitely don't want to change what they're doing, especially if somebody else is telling them they need to change. So they're too prideful and too self-centered to change. But unsafe people may also not want to change because of their wounding, right? They're just so insecure that they take everything as an insult. So they don't see why they're they need to change. They just accept themselves the way they are, and it's an easier message to take. You know, the one that says, "Hey, just love yourself the way you are." And I'm not saying not to do that. Definitely love yourself, but there's some things about yourself that need to change. You know, that's just the truth of it. There's some things about me I need to change, and especially if it's our insecurities, right? We have got to change our insecurities. Narcissists will protect their insecurities. Wounded people will protect their insecurities, and they become unsafe. They become, you know, even if they don't intend to be unsafe, they become unsafe. Now, a safe person wants to change for the better. Like when they know they did something that hurt you, they love you so much that they don't want to do that anymore. Okay, say the name calling thing. All right. So yeah, okay, maybe they grew up in a house where people yelled out, you know, nasty names at each other, and they're around parents who fought all the time and said nasty things to each other. Now that they're in a relationship with you, and you say, look, my boundary is you cannot be calling me these nasty names. There's none of that anymore. Well, guess what? They're not going to defend that. They're not going to say, like, well, I don't need to change because I love myself or I accept myself the way I am. No, they're going to see, like, wow, calling you names really hurts you and degrades you. And I'm making, you know, I'm trying to tear you down, obviously, right? If I'm calling you names, I'm going to change that. I want to change that because I love you, because I care about you. So, safe people embrace humbly, right? This change because they want to be the kind of person that makes you feel loved. So, you guys, that's a huge one. Let's go on to number 6. Unsafe people. Oh, you guys have so many comments. I want to see this. Here we go. I want to see this here. Okay. I might have missed some. I'm so sorry if I've missed some of these. John says, 1 minute I was her soulmate and now I don't even exist. She's doing the same thing with him as she was with me. This guy comes with a lot of baggage as well. 3 kids, a dog, 2 spiteful exes. Yeah, they don't change their cycles. You know, they go through the same cycles over and over again. I'm going back quite a bit, you guys. Holographic says, love you and your show. What I love the most is 1, you are genuine. 2, you are kind. Thank you. And 3, you are joyful. Yes. And that's what I hope you guys realize is, you know what? Pain sucks. You know, yeah, I am so freaking familiar with pain and misery and sadness, depression, all of that. I've been through it. But the thing that pulls me out of those moments, days, weeks, long periods of time, is joy. And now that I go to joy more and more, I get pulled out of those moments much faster. It doesn't take me days anymore. It doesn't even take me hours anymore. It takes me a few minutes now to get pulled out of depression. Isn't that amazing? Like I will start feeling so horrible and bad about myself, but then I'll, you know, instead of sitting in my misery and listening to these lies from my wounds, I watch a comedian. And it's like I start to laugh and it pulls me out. It's just fantastic. Anyway, thank you for noticing that, holographic. I appreciate that. Measure twice says, being late is stressful. It also indicates chaos in the person's life or inability to plan ahead. And sometimes the airheadedness, right? And I agree. I was there too. I'd been an airhead about that. But I got to tell you, I feel so much less stress when I'm not late. So I've adopted that. Here we go. Gamer says, I am 30 years old and I just met a 47-year-old man. Is that a red flag? I have been single for 4 years and no man my age has asked me out. I have only been asked out by men in their 50s and 60s. Ooh, hey, Gamer Christina, let me give you this advice. Just take it slowly. All right. Do not get intimate. Do not get physical. No touching. No kissing. I'm sorry. Not even hand holding. Okay. Get to know this person. I'm not crazy about such a big age difference, but you know, I don't know all the relationships out there. It's just the ones I've seen. I'm not crazy about it, by the way. I just am not. But not to say that this 47-year-old is not a good person. They may very well be a good person. So take it slowly. Learn about them, get to know them as a person, not as a love interest, not as someone to date or be physical with, but someone to see if you are compatible. You know, that's what dating is for, is just to see if mentally you're compatible, not to see if you're physically compatible, okay? Parts fit together. I'll tell you that right now. Parts will always fit together. But what may not fit together is your mental stages, right? Where you are mentally, emotionally, where you are in your faith, you know, or spiritually. Do you guys make a good match? Is your humor good? Do you complement each other in your humor? You know, do you find the same things funny? Do you enjoy, you know, and then at first, here's the deal too. The beginning of a relationship is always exciting because you're starting to learn about each other, and that's great. And it seems really exciting. Now, see if that excitement continues on a few months down the road. Are you still learning from each other? Are you both growing? Are you both, this is when you'll start to see like whether this person can handle stress. You want to see whether they can handle how they behave in negative situations. Like, do they lash out? Are they able to control their temper? Are they still thoughtful and kind? You want to know this. And I'll tell you what, I have met people, my husband's like this. He's so kind, such a kind man, but he's also really strong and brilliant, and he cracks me up. And that's my, you know, one of my favorite things is he and I say stuff. I love making him laugh. And when I make him laugh, I know, like a really good laugh, he just loses. You know how people are like, ha 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 ha, you know, and it's not a real great laugh. He just goes into his laugh, like because I surprise him sometimes. And that's how, you know, when you're dating, you want to see if you do that to each other or for each other, right? It's not going to be the fake stuff. Like, I'm just trying to laugh because, you know, even though your joke is stupid, I'll laugh to make you feel better. So anyway, that's what I would suggest for you, honey. So Gamer Christine says, thank you for your red flag number 4. Yeah, the connection. Exactly. So Chris says, I'm in no hurry whatsoever, but I can only imagine what a deep, true connection with a man feels like. It is built over time, you know, and it starts with, first of all, dating, the dating stage where you get to know the other person, not physically. Physically, if you are getting thrown into a physical relationship, that clouds our judgment on all the other levels. It does. It clouds our judgment on their spirituality. It clouds our judgment on their emotional maturity. It clouds our judgment on their mental, you know, whether they're smart, right? We just make up stuff for them because if we get physical, our hormones get involved, and our hormones drive us to want something that may not be real. So, I'm sorry, my comment was regarding escape. 3 years or 30 years? I couldn't hear. Congratulations either way. 30 years. 30. We have been together. Let me think. Is that right? Together. Good Lord, how old were we? Anyway, it's great. We've known each other for a long time, and we have built this beautiful relationship. And you know, it's so good. That's why I want to tell you guys, I'm on the other side, and in the midst of all of that, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot through other relationships that came in and out. I've learned a lot from the narcissists that had raised me, you know, and the narcissists that have come in and out of my life. Anyway, one day I may share with you some very, very intimate stuff beyond that. That happened not too long ago, a few years ago now, I guess, and which brought me to doing this channel. And that's why, oh my gosh. Anyway, you guys, there are more things we need to talk about. Number 6. Wait, did we get to that already? 5, 4. Yeah, okay. So number 6 is they are perpetual victims, and yet always the hero or altruistic, generous, tolerant person. So the stories they tell you about themselves always paints them as the victim because they need your sympathy, right? They want you to feel sorry for them. They want you to see how bad things were and then look at them now. They're so amazing, or they're but not even now. I mean, even now they're still a victim. That's how, they're always a victim of something, of someone, of, and yet because of their victim, status, it's more amazing that they're as strong as they are right now, right in front of you, right? And they want you to always see like that you have to give them allowances because they're the victim. So that's another one that's a big red flag. Like all the stories they're telling you, that they tell you about them and another friend or all their relationships, somehow they're the victim of all these different relationships. Like, oh wow, and I understand that some relationships do victimize, but also you gotta grow from that. Like, yeah, you may have been a victim, but then you don't always have to let that continue to control you. Like, you're done with it now. Let's close that door. Let's not continue that victimhood into your next relationship and into your current relationship, right? So they're perpetual victims. And number 7, okay, we're going up to number 8. Number 7 is they blame others. Yep, everybody else is at fault. Even when they know they messed up, they're going to say, it's because somebody else did this. That's why I messed up. So blaming others, they just don't take responsibility for their own actions. And safe people will. Safe people will take responsibility for their own actions, regardless of what other people did. It's like, well, okay, I can see why, at the beginning of this whole story, with all these sequences, I ended up doing what I did, but I still had a choice. I still had a choice to get mad. I still had a choice to call you a name. I still had a choice, yeah, you may have made me mad, but I don't need to call you a name because of it, or what do you mean? I also have a choice to get mad at what you did, right? Like, even if you did something, you forgot something, I had the choice. You forgot my birthday, all right? So do I have a choice to get mad about that? Yeah, I do. I don't need to blame you for, well, that's why I ended up calling you names and throwing this fit and getting mad at you because you forgot my birthday. Like, what the heck? Yeah, but unsafe people will blame you and say that's cause for their reaction, right? So number 8, the last one, you guys, is, and I think this is huge. The last one is they demand trust from you. Yeah, they demand it. They insist you trust them completely. And then they're insulted or offended if you ask for evidence, or if you don't trust them blindly, right? Like, I don't know. I don't really believe that. I don't really trust this. Can you show me more? Can you tell me more? Boy, they get mad. They're like, what are you trying to say? You don't trust me? Yeah, hey, where'd you go last night? Well, I just stopped at 7-Eleven to grab a soda. For 2 hours? you know, you went to the 7-Eleven down the street for 2 hours? How dare you not trust me? It's just ridiculous crap like that. And then unsafe people act like you should just trust everything they say. Well, here's the deal. They're lying to you, and yet they want you to believe them. You are not obligated to believe anything they say. Not obligated. And here's the deal. Safe people know this. Safe people know that you're not obligated to believe them. If you don't believe them, then first of all, even if they're telling the truth, they're okay with it. They're okay with it because they know, like, well, you just need to build trust over time. You need to get to know them better. You need to see the patterns that demonstrate that they're trustworthy. And they understand that, and they'll take it slowly with you, and they won't expect you to just believe everything they say. Like if they tell you, for instance, yeah, I have a great relationship with my dad. And you're like, oh, okay. But guess what? When you're around that person and their dad, you get to see for yourself if they have a great relationship with their dad or not. You don't have to take anything at face value with anybody. You don't have to trust anything that anybody tells you. They have to earn it. And safe people understand that. Safe people understand that they have to earn trust. They have to build trust. They have to demonstrate trust, right? So that they're trustworthy. So they're okay with that. But unsafe people will demand it right away, and they demand it blindly, that you trust them blindly. And that is a huge pitfall. Do not ever trust anyone blindly. Trust them because you get to know them. Trust them because you've built connection with them. Over a period of time, you feel closer to them, not just are there because you spent time. You trust them because you see a pattern. You see what they've demonstrated. You see that they take responsibility for themselves. You see that they don't blame everybody. You see that they're humble. You see that they have healthy boundaries and healthy expectations of themselves. And they know they have healthy expectations even of you. Like they expect you to be respectful towards them, and they'll be respectful towards you. It's reciprocal, right? It's reciprocated. So these are signs that we need to pay attention to. If we're not receiving this in our relationship, then this is an unsafe person in your life, and you need to be very cautious moving forward with them. So you guys, one last thing I want to talk to you guys about, which is huge, okay? And I have to challenge you with this. We went through our eight items, but and this is a hard thing. This is going to be a hard question for you guys. It is, do your insecurities and fears get in the way of you being a safe person? Let me say that again. Do your insecurities or fears, your wounds, do they get in the way of you being a safe person for others? And the reason I ask you that is not to hurt you, not to demean you or criticize you, is to get you to introspect a little, right? To think about, in what ways do I have inadequate or inappropriate expectations of others? Do I expect others to know how I'm feeling, even though I'm not even aware of what I'm feeling? Am I using foul language and calling people names when I get angry? Do I have an anger problem? And a lot of times, by the way, anger comes from pain. If you're lashing out in anger in some instances, it's because you're probably feeling a wound come up. And that wound could be that you're feeling insignificant, you're feeling unheard, you're feeling, it's those triggers, right? You're feeling like this person is disrespecting you and putting you down. You're feeling, your feelings come out, your woundedness and insecurities come out. So there are ways to deal with that. And the ways you deal with that is you focus really on what your insecurities are. You have to identify them. You have to expose them to the light and say, oh my gosh, I have a huge fear of rejection. I have a huge fear of criticism. So when I hear criticism, and when I hear someone say, I don't like your idea, actually yesterday, a woman I was talking to was telling me, I don't like anything that you're telling me. And, we were kind of laughing. She was going through a really hard time. And the reason for that is because I was telling her some really hard things. Okay. I didn't take offense to that. I understand, like, some of the things I ask people, it's very hard for them to have to deal with, but I want to get them there. I want to get them healthy. I want to get them making good choices. I want them to be able to see clearly. So I gave her some options like, okay, think about these things and make sure you have an exit strategy, right? That's a huge thing for me, is an exit strategy. You need to know what you are willing to tolerate and what you are not willing to tolerate. And the things that you're not willing to tolerate, you have to be willing to walk away, right? Because that's what not tolerating is. Walk away. You don't tolerate it. You don't stay there and keep taking it. So that was hard for her to hear. But anyway, you guys, that's what I wanted to share with you. I hope that maybe next time we can talk about that, some things that we're going through that we need to work on, right? So I'm going to read some of your comments, you guys. So glad that I got through my list. That was kind of a long list, even for a happy crappy hour. It could have been probably easily 8 videos, but here we go. I'm going to go back and see what you guys have been saying and let you guys wrap up some of your comments to each other. Oh my, I missed a lot of comments. Measure Twice said hello to everyone. Okay, whoa, okay. I'm sorry, I'm just going back and back. How far back did I stop? I may not go back far enough, so I apologize if I missed some of your comments. Geechee, good to see you. Dealing with narcissists at work. Oh yeah, that happens too. With that, you got to keep your distance and document everything. Document everything, all your interactions with them, and especially your own work. Know what you're responsible for and what their contributions were, because they will take credit for your work. So have documentation of that. See Thomas. Okay. Holograph says, I use humor against them. When they say, you don't take me seriously, I say, hold on, let me record you so I get every important detail you say to me. Then sit and let them ramble. Aw. Oh, you guys. Okay. Measure Twice says, yes, unsafe people resist change. Oh, yes, too controlling typically. Wow, you guys have so much. My hope is in him. Good to see you. Okay, here we go. I think Crystal Singh says, how did you meet your husband? Aw, okay, I may talk about that someday, but he actually saw me. He saw me in a room. He wasn't even the one to come to me. There's an airplane that's passing by, you guys, so I'm gonna let that pass by. There it goes. A friend of his, well, not even really a close friend or anything, an acquaintance he was with, walked up to me and a girl that I was with, and because his acquaintance was interested in the girl that I was with, and that's how my husband and I met. So once from his story, the way he tells it, he says, so we come up to these 2 girls, and he wasn't sure like what his acquaintance was doing, so he's just following the guy. And he says, and then before he knew it, he was standing in front of this really cute girl, and he just, I mean, he didn't immediately fall madly in love, but it was about a week. He said pretty much within a week he knew he was in love. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. He said, but he didn't tell me. He was afraid to tell me that because he thought I would run the other way. And I was like, you absolutely are right. I would have definitely run the other way. So 6 months later of him pursuing me, I realized, being around him for 6 months, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a chance. And that's when we started dating, because I saw how he was with our friends. I saw how he was in just life. I saw how he was with other people. I saw that he was so positive and that he was kind and he was thoughtful. Well, no, not always thoughtful. Like, he had some maturing to do because he wasn't like the most suave, with women. And I think that's better, actually, that guys are not so suave and with women, because those guys kind of scare me. Like they're playing a role or something. No, he's just very real. And I think it was his kindness and positivity that made me think, you know what, this is a good guy, and I'm going to, I'll go out on a date with him. And so we started dating, and then a few years later, we got married. Yeah, Measure Twice says, gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. There's so many comments. Crystal says, Christina, I think that's too big of an age difference. Men always want younger meat. Sorry. I think there's an issue with the man if they're looking for someone that much younger, probably immature. Crystal Jean, I'm glad you said that. I hate to think that way about people, but the thing that occurs to me is when men, I've known people in their 40s dating women in their 30s. I'm sorry, in their 20s. 20-year difference. Come on. 17, 20 year. Yeah, I think there was one when they were 17, 18-year difference. And I think Crystal Jean's right on about that. Is immaturity. They're not able to handle someone who is their own age. But I'm looking at people who are in their 30s and 40s who are dating teenagers or 20-year-olds, 50-year-old men or women looking at a partner who's in their 30s. Now, when you're in your 30s and in your 50s, I wonder, because there's just a smaller population of people who are out there who may be fit, who may be still active in life and wanting to do things, and learning and growing and all that. So I'm not too sure about that. It's possible. But anyway, you guys, yeah, I do question the huge age difference. Measure Twice says, dating someone with a large age difference over 7 years, in my opinion, could mean the person can't find folks their age to date due to lack of maturity or looking for a younger trophy partner. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they're lacking maturity themselves, right? The older person, or they want a trophy partner. But I think also sometimes if you're in your 50s, and I'm not saying, Christina, you should go for someone, there are plenty of guys in their 40s and 30s, by the way. But even some guys in their 30s are still trying to figure their life out. Hopefully they're getting there. They're getting to figure out their life in their 30s, and they're getting on track, and they're building themselves up mentally, physically. They're building themselves up financially, becoming more responsible with their finances. So you want to watch for that. Yeah. So watch for those signs. Holograph says, I'd say the only sign to look out for is lack of peace. Toxic people are restless. This is true. But wounded people are also restless, and they just need to work on their woundings. Crystal says, Measure Twice, his mother and her husband sold everything they owned to move to Europe for a year. Wow. So apparently he's been planning to go since then. Wow. Yeah. So you guys, I'm just going to see if I can catch some of these comments. Measure Twice says, perpetual victims. That is 1,000% my ex-husband and his mother as well. Both so extremely dysfunctional. Yep. Victims, Crystal says, pity ploys and oh so humble. LMAO. Yeah, victim mode. Yeah, you guys, I'm just going through some of these comments. I so appreciate our time today. Measure Twice says, blame shifting. Never take responsibility for their actions. Correct. The covert narc may display this differently than the overt narc, but neither takes responsibility. Just a covert wears a halo. Jihad says, number 8. Wow, the things I could tell you about that. Yeah, number 8 was demand blind trust from you. Crystal says, my sister was calling herself Cinderella. Whoa, always treated like shit by us. Oh, the other night on a live chat, we have all been walking on eggshells. That's the other thing. If you're walking on eggshells around somebody, not a safe person. Not a safe person. And it could be that they're a narcissist, but it also could be that they're just so wounded that they're super sensitive to everything, and they need help. They need some time away from you, right? You need time away from them so that they can heal and become healthier before they interact with you. And if they can't and refuse to get that help, then they remain toxic or unhealthy, and you don't need that. Yeah, you guys. You're awesome. Gosh, there's so many wonderful comments. So glad that you guys all joined me today. I am so glad to see you. So appreciate your encouragement. Let me see. Oh, let me see. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, you guys are having some conversation. I'm sorry. I'm just going through some of these. Holograph says, haha, my husband said, what if you're 99 years old? Who can you date? Haha. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I kind of resist saying, oh, a huge age difference. Because what if you're, 70? You want to date somebody who's in their 50s? I'm like, well, I think that should be okay. But, in that case, maybe a 20-year age difference isn't that 80 and 60. You know what I mean? It depends on how much life experience. It depends on your level of maturity. It depends on also the population out there. The older you get, the smaller the population is for dating in your own age group. So, and also there's so much life that has been had that by the time you're in your 50s and 60s, you're you're pretty well matured, I would think, right? So anyway, you guys, blessings to you. Happy crappy hour has ended. I am so glad to see you guys. I will see you again next week. Much love to you. I'm wishing you all the wholeness and joy that's out there for you, waiting for you. Now go make today great, and I will talk to you soon.